The 2022 Embedded 301 at New Hampshire Motor Speedway was the 20th race of the 2022 NASCAR Cup Series season, which took place on July 17th, 2022. This race was just a normal race for 35 drivers, but for one driver, it was a final hurrah due to what would be unexpected the next weekend in the Tricky Triangle. On the 74th episode of Ian's Racing Stories, I'll be telling a story of Kurt Busch's final hurrah in the 2022 New Hampshire NASCAR Cup Series race. This is Kurt Busch's last hurrah. Kurt Busch's journey in the fast lane has been one hell of a story. A kid from Las Vegas achieving his dreams of racing in NASCAR, a rising star, a hot-headed star to be exact, from winning races to a lot of controversies and meltdowns, in a journey to redemption, even winning the 2017 Daytona 500. In 2022, Kurt Busch would race for 23XI Racing after racing for Chip Ganassi Racing for 3 seasons from 2019 to 2021, being teammates with Bubba Wallace. 2022 was a big, but also a controversial year. The biggest news of the 2022 season was the new Gen 7 car. In May of 2022, Kurt Busch would win a Spring Kansas race after a hard-charging battle for the lead against Kyle Larson. He had an up-and-down season, but so has Bubba and the rest of the 23XI Racing team. If you want to see a full story of 23XI Racing's 2022 season, feel free to check out episode 45 of Racing Stories, link in the description below. Anyway, let's get on to New Hampshire. Coming into the race weekend at New Hampshire, SiriusXM would sponsor Kurt Busch. The day before the race, Kurt had a slow start to the weekend with a 25th place run in practice. But in qualifying, he would have a much better run for a 3rd place starting position along with his teammate Bubba Wallace, who started in 4th. It was race day in New Hampshire, a cloudy day in the Magic Mile, but the fans are ready to see the cars turn up the heat. Despite a tough practice session with a much better qualifying run, Kurt Busch and number 45 team were expecting the same outcome from the successful Gateway race and result a month prior. Kurt struggled in New Hampshire for a while, but he and the team were confident that the race may go as planned, like Gateway. Now, it was time to go racing.
All right, everybody. Thanks again for all the hard work. Remember, guys, crew guys, nice and smooth. Let's find the right strategy. Rock and roll, Jarrett.
Coming to the green flags, the pace car is going to pull onto pit road. Chase Elliott holds the field. The flag man, official starter, waves the green, and we're underway here in New Hampshire.
Truex, the pole sitter, chose the outside lane, gets a really nice start, easily clears the 9 into turn 1.
Bubba Wallace trying to get that outside quarter panel right there on Chase Elliott. Finally, Chase realizes he's there.
And Christopher Bell, a little bit further back, got a really bad exit off of turn 2, and they're all piling around him on the outside.
During the first 5 laps of the race before Ty Dillon and Alex Bowman's crash, Kurt Busch would drop down to 4th place while his teammate Bubba Wallace moved up to 2nd place early in the going. On the second restart, Kurt Busch and Kyle Larson were battling against each other for 4th place.
It's funny, it all really caught our attention when this started, but now you talk to the drivers, and I'm not even sure that it's become so natural to them now. You talk to them about shifting, and they have a hard time explaining when and why and how. It's just second nature, kind of like the pedals in the steering wheel.
You see this battle right here continues on. Kyle Larson working hard to get by Busch. It's just such a difficult pass. We talked about it earlier. We saw Kyle Larson. This is what he wants to do. He wants to run up the racetrack, then turn left and drive off the bottom. That's what he wants to do with his car, but once you get to the car, how do you make that pass, Marty? That's what's so difficult about New Hampshire.
On lap 54, Kevin Harvick and Kurt Busch would battle for the top 5, and Harvick would pass Busch for 5th, dropping to 6th, but then he would drop down to 7th. After the lap 70 caution, Kurt Busch would exit 6th on pit road, moving up a spot after Chase Elliott lost 4 spots.
Green flag is out. We're back underway for stage 2. 3 wide back there. The 12-car Blaney being really aggressive down into turn 1 on the apron. Oh, a car spinning. Kyle Busch around on the back straightaway.
Straight. Good shape. Yellow's out.
He did an amazing job to save that. Everyone around him did an equally impressive job not to make contact with him or anyone else trying to change lanes and avoid. He spun out of 18th position.
After the caution for brother Kyle Busch spinning, Kurt would restart 6th again on lap 84, and he would fight against other drivers for position.
Truex stomps in the gas, goes through the gears. Acceleration clears him down into turn 1. 5 car of Larson trying to battle back to the inside here for the corner exit. Not able to do it. 3 wide. Back there for 5th position. Still 3 wide down into the corner. Nobody giving up.
Bottom of your screen, we see the 1 of Ross Chastain making some moves. He started next to the 11. They took care of each other pretty well in the restart. We heard Ross Chastain earlier in the show, in the pre-race show, talk about some of the mistakes and trying to do a little bit better job. And on that restart, gave the 11 what I would consider more than ample room on this outside lane, although now they're 3 wide with Reddick.
After the caution came out for Corey LaJoie, Harrison Burton, and Mike McDowell's crash, Kurt Busch would lose 2 spots at pit road, restarting in 9th after some drivers stayed out. But on this restart, he was on it.
Easily again accelerates and clears. Buscher down on the bottom of the racetrack. Restart after restart, the control car has been able to accelerate at least that car length ahead into turn 1.
Look at Larson on the bottom of that 3 wide. He got a great launch. Bubba Wallace did not. I'm sorry, that's Kurt Busch. Larson behind him, now underneath his teammate.
Larson has 2 fresh tires. We're going to see if those pay off. They look good as he turns to the bottom of that 45. You mentioned Kurt Busch. These paint schemes are not making it easy for us, Jeff. I had the 5 and the 45, almost the same scheme.
Yeah, I got him confused.
Bubba's working hard, trying not to lose too many positions here. He's going to fight back on the outside of these guys. Look at the 5 way down on the apron. Larson trying to make that low line work. Wallace is going to keep that spot. Christopher Bell on the outside of Larson now, trying to make some moves there. That outside gets the momentum, kind of tightens up the guy on the bottom, and he can't really throttle up and make the exit.
Throughout this long run part of the race, Kurt Busch remained a top 10 car, but still running well, trying to have a better second half of the race. After a caution came out for Ryan Blaney's crash in turn 4, he would roll out of pit road in 5th, restarting in 4th, but would lose a couple of spots. But thankfully for Kurt, caution would be out for Chase Briscoe spinning after getting to Cole Custer in turn 3. Kurt would restart in 4th again, this time a better restart.
Watch that acceleration of Martin Truex Jr. again, clearing the inside line, and these guys getting really aggressive in the back of the field, trying to make it 3 wide. Lots of 3 wide off of turn 2 for around 5th position every single restart. Great shots here.
Kurt Busch would remain in 4th until caution came out for Kyle Busch spinning again, an on-track altercation between Austin Dillon and Brad Keselowski. After all that commotion, Kurt Busch restarted in 4th once again.
Back for a restart, Martin Truex Jr. again controlling the field. Love seeing all that defensive driving down into turn 1. Guys going to the apron. Bubba Wallace down there, making it 3 wide. No one still has been able to defend the launch of the lead car. As Truex gets away cleanly again, they battle hard behind him. Kurt Busch working his way forward a little bit in that 45 car, battling for 4th place right there with the 9 car of Chase Elliott.
That Kurt Busch, such a good race car driver, still doing it at his age. Guy's a threat. Working hard underneath Chase Elliott. Hoping the 22 will leave him a little bit of a gap on the bottom. See, they're all early in this run, just trying to roll on.
20 with you, trying to turn low. Straight back. All clear tight, though. Looking low to dive, looking low to dive.
And that's information Kurt's getting about the 20 car behind him. Kurt underneath the 22 just can't make it work on corner exit.
Had a big lift on corner exit. That allowed Larson to run right up to his rear bumper.
Larson on the outside goes around the 20, now to the bottom of the racetrack, trying to get under the 45 here. Kurt Busch off of turn 4. Right behind these guys, look at Ross Chastain working that number 1 car into the picture here today. Didn't have the qualifying effort, didn't have the pace early in the race. They've worked and worked to get this car faster.
If I'm James Small, the crew chief to the 19, who's out there leading 145 laps, and I'm seeing all this, there's no chance I want to get my car back in row 2 or 3. It's chaos back here.
Kurt Busch went from a top 10 driver to a top 5 driver in this part of the race. During the past restarts, where he kept restarting in 4th, after another caution flew, Kurt Busch would lose a spot down to 7th. After a couple of drivers stayed out, Kurt Busch would restart in 11th. But he shot out like a rocket, making 3 wide moves to William Byron and Ross Chastain and racing against Chris Buescher. After a caution for Todd Gilliland's spin in turn 4 with 96 laps to go, Kurt Busch would stay out and would restart in the front row next to Joey Logano.
Green flag.
Kurt Busch on the outside of the control car down into turn 1, 3 wide. Harvick on the inside of Truex. This is a real critical thing for this race. Those 2 cars right there have really been the 2 fastest cars next to Chase Elliott.
Coming into 58 to go, Kurt Busch and 3 other drivers would get around a slow and typical Cody Ware. In Kurt's mirror, Joey Logano and Chase Elliott made contact, but Chase Elliott was closing in on Kurt Busch and would battle against Kurt Busch for lead and a potential win.
So Christopher Bell slots into 3rd place, and now the 9 car, seemingly unaffected by that contact, has caught Kurt Busch for the lead.
There's a lot of layers to this, right? The 9 trying to pass the 45 for the lead. Can the 9 make it on fuel? All of these things. You see the 9 pull up to the inside of the 45. Can't quite stay there. No, contact!
Again.
That's his signature move.
Well, he's going to have some angry people.
Oh, he uses him up right here. Up the racetrack.
Tight door.
Look at this.
Still a
Chase
gap of
Elliott
7.
with the aggression.
Kurt Busch with some momentum down the back straightaway, though. What's Chase going to do? Tries to drive into the corner. Will he keep it on the bottom or try to wash up right on that white line?
Kurt's going to fight back down the front straightaway.
Kurt knows that Chase is faster, but if Kurt can break even with him on corner entry and then roll corner exit speed, be able to just carry that corner exit, then it'll be a very hard pass for Chase Elliott.
Kurt did not get off the corner as well as he'd hoped right there. The 9 car even down the back straightaway into turn 3. Chase again slows the car down to wrap around the corner. That Chase, look at the 20 car. Christopher Bell draws into this battle. Chase almost clear. He is clear. But he allows Kurt to come back on the outside.
All good, all good, all good.
He takes the line away from the 45. Here comes the 20 car.
Inside, just get your run here.
Chase
You're
is
going
going
to
to
be
have the
fine.
momentum off the corner to clear the 20 of Christopher Bell. Christopher Bell, though, into 2nd place.
After an exciting battle for the lead against Chase Elliott, not only were both at it for the lead, but Christopher Bell would come out of nowhere and pass Kurt Busch while Kurt dropped back down to 3rd. After leading 40 laps of the race, Kurt Busch would finally pit with 32 laps to go.
Oh, Kurt Busch on pit road.
So I think this is a good call. If you think you have to get fuel in 15 laps, come now and put tires on this thing and try to flip it, Kim, and get up front.
Yeah, and here's Kurt Busch right now. The call to be 4 tires, Sunoco fuel. Kurt silent on the radio, and that's because he spent most of the time out in clean air. No major complaints as they continue to work. Kurt Busch finishing service down here on pit road.
Now this 45, these fresh tires aren't going to put him back in the race for the win. But these guys, 15th on back, trying to nurse fuel and tires to the finish, he'll be a second faster than those guys. This will be a lot of spots for the 45.
After his final pit stop of the race, Kurt Busch would be in 26th position, 1 lap down. However, the race was not over for the number 45 team. 13 laps after making his final pit stop, he would be in 20th with 90 laps to go. 1 lap later, he was back on the lead lap.
We see now the 41 of Cole Custer on pit road. Unfortunately, as expected, needing fuel in this 41, so they're going to pit. They're going to put on 4 tires and try to just run the best laps they can. Only 2 tires, excuse me. Back on the racetrack, the 45 of Kurt Busch, we saw him pit really early, put on 4 tires. He's back up to 18th, and more importantly, has unlapped himself. So now if the caution does come out, he can choose to stay on the racetrack and be the leader all of a sudden. That's why that pass is very, very important. Nice job by Kurt Busch unlapping himself on Christopher Bell.
With fresh tires and a fast car, Kurt Busch was slowly climbing his way to better results with the race winding down. He was 17th with 14 laps to go, 16th with 13 laps to go, 15th with 10 to go, 13th with 7 to go. Joey Logano, who was 11th, would pit with 4 laps to go, which would mean another spot for Kurt to 12th. While Christopher Bell took home the victory, Kurt Busch would finish in 10th place. An amazing comeback for Kurt. It took over 30 laps and 16 positions for him to finish in the top 10. For someone who was rumored to be retiring soon, Kurt Busch drove like he was a younger driver in his 20s or 30s. Just before the Pocono race weekend, there were more rumors about the topics of Kurt Busch retiring from NASCAR. Just before the Pocono race weekend, there were more rumors about the topics of Kurt Busch retiring from NASCAR racing. On the CBS morning program on July 21st, 2022, Pocono race weekend, he mentioned his future plans while talking about the upcoming inaugural Chicago street race.
What do you hope this does for Chicago?
Well, it's to create the buzz for not just the city, but for our sport. It creates this ticket that people want to come and be part of. And just to be part of this. I've been in this sport 23 years, and this to me is like one of those kid in a candy store moments of I want to be part of this. And I'm glad that I'm having the chance to drive next year for the team, and then I might be done driving after that. But
I was wondering about that.
Yeah.
I was wondering about that, Kurt, because you are 43. That's considered, and no offense, that's considered older in your business over the age of 40. When you just said I might be done after this, do you really mean that? I was wondering, do you have a game plan about retiring?
So there's a few different options, and for me, the team, it just gave me so much respect about a month ago. They said, you can drive as long as you want to drive for us. We really appreciate you driving. Well, we need to start to look at who the next new talent is, where the sponsorships are.
But are you ready? Are you even kind of ready?
It's part, but maybe not. So I'll keep driving.
You're not sure?
We just signed a new guy, Tyler Reddick, to 2311.
Okay.
What do you like
building.
about it?
Is this the first time you're talking about potentially retiring?
It's out there all the time, but no, not really. Yeah.
But what do you like about the sport still?
My favorite part?
Is?
Oh, it's that first lap of practice each weekend.
Why?
It's that adrenaline of that speed in that moment, but also because of the team. They built this car. It's very safe to drive, and it's fun, and I now get the chassis setup all dialed in after
Now,
that first moment.
if you retire, you can always come back. I mean, just ask Jordan, and that's your guy. It's part of the ownership group, right?
Yeah.
Or you can switch sports for a little while, go to Formula One, maybe.
Now, we're definitely going to have a lot of fun this next little bit. And this Chicago street race, again, it's just unprecedented. Bold move for our sport. And it's fun the way that NASCAR is moving some of our tracks around and going to new venues.
Despite no official news about Kurt Busch's retirement, he hinted that the 2023 NASCAR Cup Series season would probably be his final year in NASCAR. Unfortunately, on July 23rd, 2022, Kurt Busch would suffer a hard crash in Turn 3 during the second round of qualifying. Honestly, if you ask me, that crash would not have happened if NASCAR stuck with just a one round of qualifying, and the Gen 7 being safer to begin with. However, opinion aside, thankfully he did climb out the car. We all thought it was a typical hard crash in NASCAR, and then everything's fine. But on race day, shocking news revealed that Kurt Busch would not be racing, and Ty Gibbs would replace Kurt Busch for the race, which would be Ty Gibbs' first Cup start.
Yeah, that run going for pole, qualifying that day, and backing it in the fence, it was a hard hit. Like, I was in outer space, and when the car smacked the right front, I don't remember that hit. And part of protocol with the infield care center is a ton of tests that you have to go through, and one of them is explain your wreck. And I never really knew that they were actually like analyzing what I was saying if I wrecked a car with the right front with a tire blowout or this wreck and that wreck. And I said, I was just going for pole. I backed it in the fence. What's the big deal? And they're like, what about your right front? I'm like, what about the right front? Go in the garage and look at it. It's fine. That's when we all started to learn that I was a bit off. To go there this summer, it was nice to just kind of close it out, to purge, to show honor to the track. The track, it's not at fault. The safety of the car is not at fault. It's just accidents happen. And, for me to go back there, it's like, you know what? Things happen for a reason, and my life has changed since then, but you take it for what you can to find positives.
Before the 2022 Southern 500, 23XI Racing made the decision to swap numbers for the final 10 races of the season to help out the 45 in owners' points. Bubba Wallace would race number 45, and Ty Gibbs would race number 23 in Kurt's car. Bubba would win the 45 of the second Kansas race, and John Hunter Nemechek would be in the 45 at Homestead, replacing the suspended Bubba Wallace after intentionally crashing Kyle Larson out of the race after Larson got up to Wallace in the second Vegas race, and Daniel Hemrick would race in the 23 at the 2022 season finale Cup race at Phoenix, replacing Ty Gibbs after Ty Gibbs unfortunately lost his father, Coy Gibbs. In 2023, Tyler Reddick would leave Richard Childress Racing a year earlier than expected and would take over Kurt Busch's ride and would win 2 races in the 2023 season, 3 wins in 2024, and an ass whoop in 2026 season with the most wins of a single Cup season in his career, so far with 5 after the first Kansas race by the time I'm making this video on June 12, 2026, especially winning the 60th running of the Great American Race in Daytona for the Daytona 500. As for Kurt Busch, he was recovering from his crash. It was also a mentor in 23XI racing. During the 2022 second Vegas weekend, he would announce that he would step away from the driver's seat full-time in 2023. And in 2023, Kurt Busch would be part of the NASCAR 75th greatest drivers. But before the Daytona 400 on August 23, 2023, Kurt Busch announced that he is retired from racing. A very unfortunate way to go out despite having a solid 2022 season, having a potential plan to retire in his own terms. In 2025, Kurt Busch would be inducted into the Class of 26 NASCAR Hall of Fame. It would also give the command start engines at Pocono in New Hampshire as well. 2 fitting races for 2 different reasons. After his final competitive race in New Hampshire 2022, Kurt Busch would race in the 2026 Heritage Invitational IROC race at the 10/10 Mile Club, racing against Jeff Gordon and even Bobby Labonte, eventually winning the race. For those who are asking why or how I came up with this idea, I wanted to make an episode about Kurt's race because I heard what happened to Kurt throughout the race and closing laps. And honestly, I was so impressed with how Kurt did after his final pit stops to the checker flag. To see a driver like Kurt Busch make a comeback like that at the 2022 New Hampshire race is honestly not only badass, but Kurt showed that he still had some gas in his tank despite being in his 40s. Kurt Busch showed that he was still a fast driver and a contender with the right car, setup, and strategy. The final 32 laps of the race was Kurt Busch's last hurrah in his NASCAR career. So that will do it for another episode of Ian's Racing Stories. I want to say thank you guys so much for watching the 74th episode of Ian's Racing Stories. My name's Ian, and I talk about racing and tell stories about the world of racing. Signing off. Goodbye, everybody.